Yo, 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 it's ODB, our lifestyle podcast, aka OLP. Thanks for coming by here on our YouTube channel. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our Mini Truckin Inspired podcast. It's easy. Any platform that you may consume podcasts on, simply go out there and search OLP. Generally speaking, that'll take you right to our lifestyle podcast. Sometimes you might have to search our lifestyle podcast, but go ahead, check us out. Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're pretty much on the platform. So thank you guys so much for coming by, and let's take a look on what I got going on. And I want to give a huge shout out to Garage Gear Clothing. If you visit garagegearclothing.com, let them know OLP sent you. They will hook you up. They have free shipping in the U.S. Also want to give a huge thanks to Sean Rose at Rose Metalworks, as well as his homie. They put together this inlay and this panel, rather, bead rolled. They do really killer work. Check them out. It's Rose Metalworks on Facebook and Instagram. So let's jump right in. Check this out. You got September of 9 Deuce, Mini Truckin Magazine. It's a classic. It's the only cover to feature, from what I recall, the Superdome. You can check it out right there. You see the roof cut out. That was something that was advertised in the magazine for a good bit. This is the second to last issue of 92. The last being November of 9 Deuce. Still bi-monthly. And before we jump in, wanted to show you guys what I got going on behind the scenes over here. Don't really show this stuff, trying to get it cleaned up a little bit. I got the Mini Truckin marquee here, kind of adding in some of the relics that I have. Shout out to Jason Redden at Mini Truck Mags for Sale. He actually hooked me up with this calendar. You got a first issue of Tailgate Magazine still in the wrapper. Beyond Reality, that was hung in my old office where I worked for about 20 years. Got some calling cards or cards down there. Those came from one of the homies, sent those, Joey and Heather. A few other items in there, including, that's one that Joey provided, OG Cal Concepts card, Dion's. You got Slamfest when my truck was featured on the artwork along with Kurt's. Got a couple other pieces there, Steel Flame, the die cast. Rest in peace, Sean Mahaney. Got Sean Co. Strong. This is the original Mini Truckin sticker. I've hinted at this a couple of times. This again came from MT Mags for Sale, Jason Redden. Down there is the reprint. It's kind of fallen a couple of times. And Airhead Nation, very cool. The homie from out west made that for us. Also got, recently picked up the G.I. Joe AWE Striker. I have my original one. It's not in very good condition. That was one of the one G.I. Joe things I kept when I sold my collection years ago. You got Du Bois. This was signed by both of the original artists. Got the Bada Bing skate deck. Those were for sale. They've sold out. And check this out. This is something I've always wanted to do, put a magazine rack in my shop here. These are all duplicates or just issues that I kind of put in here for a quick photo op, including the first street trucks, a couple old school Mini Truckins. Got some gems in here. Even got an old Source. This is one I bought myself. MC8, very cool cover. Got the 8 balls in there. Got an old sport truck. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. And the last thing I'll show you is this Texplex Hell Track. That was June 21st to the 24th. That was the poster that was part of the VIP kit for going out there. Pretty cool. But enough of this. Let's jump back into September of 92. All right, so here you have September 92. There's 7 features. A guy named Jimmie O Dell shot the cover. And let's jump right in here. So you have Neon Nights. Of course, an ad there right out the gate. So you got managing editor, this Bruce guy, he did a lot in this issue. Of course, they start to kind of reinforce staff feature editors. You got McCormick, we've had him on. Shartsis, we've had him on the podcast. And then editor Steve Stillwell still. Steve stayed on the editor for some time until Shartsis took over the reins. So True Spokes. Been watching a lot of awesome lowrider videos on YouTube lately. Truck Bash 92. Mini trucks and full-size trucks. Sunshine Speedway. Not too far from here. And you got a couple tech articles in here, including this one with a topper. And you see some of the outline stuff there. And Jimmie O Dell shot the cover. So editorial by the Bruce guy. You got the mini market. It's kind of gloomy, overcast here today in Florida, so I wanted to kind of get this one in while there was decent daylight. So paper cuts. You got advertisements there. And this one seemed to be around a while. September 92, this was the second to last issue of the year, still bi-monthly. And November would round out the next issue. This is issue 21, I think we're on. The next issue will round out 92 with the Trucksarosa on the cover. You got Smog Legal Performance Makeover. As I said, this one came from Thomas Cardinal, so thanks to him. He did a trade with me. I really needed this issue. I did not have it in my collection, and I traded him some good issues for this one, but I was stoked. This one seems to be a little bit more rare. So Ragtime, toppers, all the rage back in the day. Of course, they're kind of making a comeback. Our homie Eddie Gordy has one on Cookies and Cream, his killer Mazda. Recently tore that thing down and it's getting repainted, which I think is awesome. This one, man, always brings a smile to my face. Love the colors on that truck, the stance. Of course, that snug top ad, but man, really classic stuff from that time. All right, so here you go. Bruce Guy shot this. Randy Caldwell's 87 Toyota from Redding, California. Really a classic mini truck. It's got the white steering wheel, it looks like, on the black and white portion of the feature. Clean bed treatment. And, of course, wanted to point out, it does have a tilt bed. Tilt bed with a topper. What? All right, so one Wicked hardbody, and this is a 90 Nissan hardbody. Classic stuff there from the early 90s. Appreciate everyone that likes these videos. Leave a comment below. We've had some pretty cool comments. People just going, hey, man, I was in clubs back in the day. I remember when I bought that issue on the newsstands. So that's what we're about on the podcast, bringing back some good memories, kind of keeping the scene going. A lot of show promoters out there, of course, put their backs on the line, so we always kind of promote, go to shows. One of our favorite upcoming shows is going to be Orange Beach Invasion. Middle of March in Orange Beach, Alabama. We'll be out there. Okay, here you have Truckin 92 Dallas Showtime. So this was promoted on the cover. This was one of their shows, and of course they promoted several shows throughout the country, and we kind of hit on those. Wouldn't be club games without some volleyball action. Engine show up basics. And here you go. You got the cover truck. 90 Isuzu. The model is Deanna Glenn. Of course, they got her in the hot tub spa for the shot. Scene red. This is a truck, although the West Coast was holding it down. You got Tennessee representing. And pretty cool, man. Who knows whatever happened to this thing? If anybody knows who the owner was or whatever, comment below. Kind of a different paint scheme. Got the headlight covers, some chrome wheels. But really the prominent thing was the Superdome, as I mentioned. And I don't remember another cover truck having it, but it was advertised in the magazine. So it was good product placement as well. Really like these trucks, man. The body lines on them. Good stuff. So they often would do this. They would continue the magazine, especially for the editorial side. And then, of course, there they also included a couple of photos, you know, a little bit further on. Really killer Mazda here. This is a 87 Mazda B2200, mission accomplished. Really got the topper, the yellow paint. Got the little covers here. Killer wheels, right? These are super popular in the day. And then, of course, you got the ground effects. Even looks like there's a little TV there. Photography, Shartsis and Aaron Newsom. It's pretty cool to see, you know, how much Shartsis over the years contributed before he became the editor. Really a lot of the employees and freelancers, got to thank them, man, because without this magazine that spun off from Truckin, as we've said multiple times, a lot of this would not be documented. Some of the killer trucks, obviously a lot of the trucks that were featured were on the cover. You know, those names are etched into our brain, or at least into history. You know, whatever the feature name was, oftentimes that became the truck name, or if the truck had a name, that, you know, became the feature name on it. We've talked about Spring Splash from the late 80s into the 90s. Brian McCormick, I think, would often take, or one of the photographers would take a photo of said mini trucker ramping into the river. And that included, you know, the photos in here as well as Truckin. I think I posted a couple over the years. This one says a mini Truckin staff, so it could have been, you know, several of the folks there on staff, you know, at the event. Probably McCormick in the mix. Just some cool stuff here. Old Cam C wheel out, which we've seen before. So here, this is an 80 Chevy Love, titled Lovin' It. And really going through every issue of Mini Truckin', pretty cool stuff that, you know, this being an 80, I would immediately think the 70s. But not as many 70s mini trucks featured in all 269 issues. A lot of 80s and 90s, of course. We'll talk more about that in 2021 on the podcast in terms of what truck was featured the most, or vehicles featured the most on the cover. This is Canyon Jam. This is pretty cool. I remember looking at this, seeing kind of the club games. It looks like that's going down, little race deal. But we'll talk about what truck was featured the most, or trucks. There were obviously issues with multiple trucks on it, what I call like a multi-truck feature. If it's like two trucks, you know, we'll be able to talk about, you know, how many total trucks were on the cover in terms of the OEMs and the years and things like that. Now, if it was a group photo, you know, there were a few of those kind of just, if there's one prominent vehicle, you know, I highlighted that in my research. But if there was, you know, 5 or 10 vehicles, that, you know, that kind of becomes tough to segment each one out. But anyways, we'll talk more about some of those key numbers and you know, who shot the most covers. All of that stuff is coming in 2021 from your Mini Truckin' headquarters, our lifestyle podcast. We also have that Instagram handle, Mini Truckin' HQ. among many others. If you follow us, Our Lifestyle Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, we'll make sure we highlight all that. This is Mini Truckin 6 issues. You see the pricing there. Truckin was a little bit less expensive for 12 issues. So you see there, $26.95 for 12 Mini Truckins, $23.95 for Truckin. Awesome issue. Dazed and Confused tech article. It always makes me kind of laugh when you look back to the technology that they had at the time. It's not a bad thing. It's just stuff is really advanced. This is, of course, stuff that would be used for emissions and things like that. Tech article continued. Tailgating. You see their new edge designs on the back window. You got the shaved up tailgate, kind of Corvette rear end, if you will, in terms of the lights, and then the body line going all the way around. Some major mods back in the day. Riding around section, super popular. A guy in Alabama, Andrew, we had him on for a short segment on the podcast. He built a truck that resembled that drip paint job. Of course, there were many trucks that had that, but it was kind of cool that he did that throwback. Don't know if he still owns it. I want to say he does. I thought he was contemplating selling that truck. Supervision. I don't know how popular alarms are these days. I may have mentioned that recently. I'm kind of curious. Do people even still get alarms installed with cars having keyless entry and all that stuff these days? I don't know. So there you have it. 92 September. And again, want to say garagegearclothing.com. Let them know in the checkout notes OLP sent you. They'll take care of you. garagegearclothing.com. You can click the link below in our description of this video. Again, just want to thank everyone that continues to support the podcast. Go out there, search OLP via your favorite podcast app. If you download Podbean through Android, Google Play Store, or the Apple Store, Podbean will allow you to go all the way back to the beginning. We're going on year 6. So big ups to everyone that's been supporting us for such a long time. Thanks for liking, potentially subscribing, and giving us, a comment below. Let us know what you think. If we need to keep the pedal stomped, we're going for all 269 issues. And oh, by the way, I just secured this weekend issue number 2 of Mini Truckin Magazine. So the collection will be complete as soon as it arrives here at the compound. ODB, we appreciate everyone out there. Stay on the rise, and let's have a good year, 2021. There you have it. If I can focus. September 9 deuce. Don't forget, garagegearclothing.com. ODB, we got you. Peace.